I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm starting out this video like pissed off. I just like spent 30 minutes doing the whole video and recording it, and then I checked and my mic wasn't on. Card games! I'm looking at the wrong fucking camera. Card games! Forgot what I was supposed to say next. God damn it. I'm not doing the bit again. Hi, I'm Teagle Beagle. I do card games and shit. And I'm here to talk about a fucking huge problem with card games right now. And that is they are becoming less accessible. To be clear, this is not me like I made a video like months on years ago, a year ago I think, where I bashed on Magic saying it's the least accessible and most sucky card game of all time. This is not that. That video was made out of rage and anger for other things, and I took it out on Magic for some reason. It's mainly a fact shown between Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic the Gathering, and that is the fact that there are three different ways card games are becoming less accessible. The first way is power creep. Power creep is affecting card games in the fact that the cards have to keep getting better and better and better and better and better, and because of that, they're getting more expensive and more expensive and more expensive and more expensive over time. Include inflation into that, and that's just a little expensive. So you can show like Nirvana High Paladin. Not even the right segment to show it. I just want to show him. You have to include him in every video talking about card games sucking now. There's also another way, which is the fact that they are making the game more for collectors than players, which is basically the fact that either the card game isn't reprinting cards, has a bad reprint policy, or they just don't have a good system for collectors as well as for players. So they kind of clash against each other, right? Third one I want to lay out is a card game that's putting out so much goddamn product that, one, you can't hype up any product because all the hype immediately is going away, and two, it means that stores have to constantly just like get rid of your product. They're not getting a profit off you, so they just get rid of your product and don't sell you anymore. So people can't get to you. So that's less accessibility in that way. I want to start off with the first thing. What was the first thing I listed? The first thing I listed was power creep. Now, Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh suffer from this in different ways. Yu-Gi-Oh has gotten better at it in recent years. There has been power creep, but it has been a bit slower. I mean, unless you can't count, it was like, what was it? For a while, it was like Tier Lament, and then it was Kashtira, and then it was Snake Eye, and I'm not even going back down. Snake Eye is still a fucking problem. Granted, it's like Tier 1 and not Tier 0, so maybe it's like, instead of up here, it's like here. Still a problem, right? However, Magic, I feel like, is getting exponentially fucking worse with this issue. In Magic the Gathering, it's more about the fact that, like, cards and decks have gotten exponentially faster. Like, each set, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And this kind of goes with the whole reprint policy they have. This kind of goes with number, was it 2 or 3 I said? Where it's like, yeah, I think it's 2. I think it's 2. Where basically Magic the Gathering has this thing where they make reprints for cards, but they either reprint cards they've already reprinted 1,000 times, or reprint cards too goddamn late, or only reprint it like one set super rare. Dockside Extortionist, they reprinted it. It went from like $300 to 15, which, you know what, good. Like they do good. I'm fucking retarded. They do good reprints. They do. But it's very few and far between. Like, I'm sorry, we don't need another 15 Siobhan Dragon reprints, Wizard. Please, no one likes this card anymore. I think I got stabbed by a ghost, because now there's like a cut on my leg, and I don't know where it came from. Anyways, I have no script, so I'm sorry if I sound like I'm like spitting a bit of nonsense. Let me try and explain it a bit better. It is basically like Magic has a problem where there is too much power creep with too little reprints. Yu-Gi-Oh has a problem for too much power creep. Their power creep is worse than Magic, but as a trade-off, their reprint policy is so much better than Magic's. Like, if there is a powerful card, you can guarantee that bitch will get reprinted, like, by the end of the year. Or by the beginning of next year in tins. It's not the best reprint policy, but, like, for being a greedy company, that is better than you can fucking ask for, to be honest. Especially since they fucking short print. Maybe that still I guess that makes Yu-Gi-Oh still worse than Magic, because, like, Yu-Gi-Oh short prints cards. If you don't know what that is, please, definition blast. Put up if, like, Magic does short printing. I don't know if they do, actually. I probably should have looked that up, actually. Hold on. Well, according to my short research, apparently they do too. So, the card games are still tied for greedy ass companies. Oh, joy. Don't I love corporations? Now, why am I like fucking sticking out my arms like a Magneto or some shit? I'm a zombie, bro. Zombie creature type. Teagle Beagle, when he enters the battlefield, gets cucked. It's just that's the two different problems Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic have, and I think it's like over time that's what happens to TCGs. I think the companies are very greedy, which will always have something to do with it. It always will. It's because it's WotC and Konami. Neither of them are good companies. They never have been. WotC's always been a sack of shit. I guess I could also discuss like the companies. We'll get to the companies later. I want to stay focused. One of the main things I have to focus on is like the like that reprint policy thing, because a lot of people have gotten into their mind that something in the Magic the Gathering community called the reserved list is a good idea. My brother in Christ. No, it is not. There's even a whole video by the professor on why that is it's a stupid list that doesn't work. One, they don't actually like listen to it. They'll just take shit off the reserve list. So like your cards are not secure on it. Now let me explain what the reserve list is, for fuck's sake. Let me explain it. The reserve list is a list of cards they will never reprint because collectors really like having cards that are more expensive and like cool, I guess. You can do that. You know how you could solve the problem that this creates? Which the problem it creates is, well, now if these cards are good, guess what? You can never get those hoes. WotC already doesn't reprint shit. And now you're telling me there's a reserve list? And like none of the cards in it are like crazy with that, to be clear, at the moment. I'm worried about them doing that to cards that are good because collectors go, we want our cards to be secure so that our purchases are valid. Which, first of all, is the only card game I have ever heard this complaint about. No card game has ever had this type of complaint about people getting mad that them buying expensive cards and then them getting reprinted is like the company's fault for reprinting and making the game more accessible. We'll fucking get into it, shall we? It's just it's frustrating. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. It creates this problem where the card game's not accessible, right? It creates more of that problem. What it causes is these cards, if they ever become good or integral, or they ever become important or good at all, now people can't play competitively, and anyone who has them just auto wins, right? Like if they put on the reserve list and it's a good card, then you're just fucked. It also means that if you just want to play like a fun deck and like, oh man, this card would be perfect for the fun deck, but it's like $600 because people decided you can't have fun with that card because it's too expensive and they want their collection to be shinier, I guess. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Has solved this problem from ever happening, which is why Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually far cheaper to play than Magic on average at all times. Sometimes it's more expensive, like when Bonfire was like a $40 card. No, was it a 400 or 40? Or was it just 100? It was something. Teagle, put up the statistic. Yu-Gi-Oh! Solved this problem by basically having a much crazier rarity system. They had like normal, rare, super rare, ultra rare, starlight rare, ghost rare, penis rare, ass rare. I don't know. There's like 50 different rarities. I'm not even joking. It's like I think it's 16 different rarities. Um, And those cards are far more expensive than their other counterparts. Like, for a Magic the Gathering card, like Time Walk, which is insane. Any format you can play it in, you just play it. It's insane. Um, in Yu-Gi-Oh, that problem will be solved by it's reprinted, or it's banned. It's either banned in all formats, which it probably would be, or if they're not gonna ban it, they're gonna reprint it a bunch, but then not reprint the versions that look shinier. So people who just want to play the game can get like the basic looking cardboard, and people who want to like, bling out and have a collection can get the cardboard that has like shiny rocks all over it. Fucking I love cardboard with chemicals. Ooh, I love sniffing chemicals. This would solve that problem, but Magic the Gathering will not do this, which I kind of understand why they won't do this. It's a little bit out of greed, but it's also by the fact that they've kind of had the system of rarity for years and years and years and years and years and years of these 5 or 6 rarities, I forget what it is, and just going, all right, there's 15 now, would be a horrible idea. They would have to introduce them slowly over time, which means the problem would slowly work itself out. But that would still mean for years, or a couple years at least, we would have to put up with this. So no matter what, it's a bad situation. It's either it doesn't get solved, or it gets solved so slow, it's going to not matter, because then more problems will have been brought up that they're going to have to deal with, like certain cards being too strong. But I've seen people legitimately complain in the Magic the Gathering community that we should never touch the reserve list, and I'm like, why? Why, dude? Magic the Gathering is already an expensive game with plenty of cards you can collect that I guarantee you won't get fucking reprints for like 20 years. I promise you they won't. For example, Black Market Connections. You know how long it took them to give it a reprint? Years. Years. I'm gonna search it up. Okay, I'm not actually. Okay, maybe I'm just dumb, but I can't find it. However, I did see something on eBay and such. It's like 40 something dollars still after that reprint. That reprint was a while ago now, which is crazy. Lost Caverns of Ixalan was like yesterday for me, dude. And now it's like nothing. I'll get into that in a bit. But basically, it just feels like the only way you could play Magic with these cards is with proxies. Which, by the way, people say, just get proxies. Just get proxies. First of all, some people in the Magic the Gathering community think that proxies are dumb and are bad when they're not. However, I also think that any card game in which the solution to their expensive cards is that you just have to make cheaper ones has a very bad reprint policy. And the fact that the players have to step in and fix it for the company is a bad sign to the company. It is a sign that people want to play your game, but you're not doing good enough to make it accessible. So make it accessible, you dickheads. Sorry. Yeah, no, I have had people just not want to play card games because they've seen like, oh man, Magic the Gathering is so expensive. But to be fair, Yu-Gi-Oh is not helping either. Let me go over Yu-Gi-Oh next. I could rant about this for a bit. Yu-Gi-Oh's main problem is they have no good way of getting people into this game decently well. The two-player starter set, fine. I reviewed it. I didn't review it on here, but I like bought it and it was fine. It's so meh. It is meh. It is meh. It is meh. Okay? It's like okay. Magic the Gathering gets people into the game way easier. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is doing a better job than it used to, for sure. Especially with the whole tri-type deck thing they did for a bit. Please do that more. Please do the tri-deck thing more. Like, give new players a taste of the combo oriented styles of the game. Like, it gave them an example of stall, gave them an example of combo, and it gave them an example of beatdown, which is awesome. I loved that. I love that so much. The three main decks we love to play. Or deck types, I should say. However, it's still fucking abysmal. People join the game, go into Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, or just go to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they just get swamped because they haven't spent hours upon hours memorizing a deck. Which I love that. I love the whole thing of like, I have to memorize my deck and do all these combos and memorize all the different ways I can play. And if like I have this one card combo, I can do this. If I have this two card combo, I do this combo. If it gets interrupted at this point, or this point, I branch off into these 5 different combos. I like that. But I also understand that if someone is joining in new, it is an ADHD fucking nightmare. It is not worth it in any way, shape, or form to get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. I understand that. I understand that. It is more worth it to get into Magic now than it is Yu-Gi-Oh! As much as I just bitched about Magic, I can bitch about Yu-Gi-Oh! For days. Absolutely could. I find myself looking into other card games as well, and some of them have similar problems. So it's not just a Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic thing. It is just generally every TCG has problems, but I find that they have the most problems. It's like how D&D, I don't play it anymore because it just has so many problems with it that I can't handle, especially with their company, that I just decided to play like Utopia TTRPG, which go play it by the way. It just actually released recently. The guy who made it, his name's Ordon. He's a great guy. I haven't talked to him personally, but like, his YouTube channel's fun. I'm running a campaign with his system right now, and my players have been having a blast. So I must be doing so. It was only the second session, but they've already been kicking ass. So can't lie. Been enjoying myself. Been enjoying myself. Back on track to card games. Um, I feel like that's really what I wanted to discuss, the main talking points there. However, I also want to get into the companies of both of these, of TCGs in general, actually. I've been kind of making this a shit on Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic Fest, but it's kind of about all card games. They're just like the biggest examples to point and laugh at. Like, ha, look at that loser. Look at that fat ass. Look at that loser. Do not fat shame. I am making a joke. Please, I'm the one who gets called a fat ass. Don't worry, bro. I don't call anyone a fat ass. Unless they're like, unless they're being an asshole, in which case I call them fat ass regardless of their build. Same way I call someone a whore, regardless of how virgin they are. Now, TCG companies, going over them in general, not very good. I gotta say, there is not a good track record. Magic is Wizards of the Coast, otherwise known as WotC, a company known for laying off employees for no reason, which I understand sometimes companies have to lay off employees because, oh, they didn't meet the profit margins that they were supposed to and they promised stuff but now they can't give out. However, WotC does something fucking stupid, in my opinion, to solve this problem, where basically what they do is, instead of firing employees from the sectors that are doing poorly, they fired employees from the Magic the Gathering sector of their company. It's Hasbro, I should say, from the Magic the Gathering sector of their company. Because, like, here's what happened, right? Hasbro was failing on all fronts. Television sucked ass. Like, everything sucked ass. Except for Wizards of the Coast, which, thanks to things like D&D and Magic, was the only hugely positive one. The only positive one, and it was hugely positive is that. It was hugely profitable. So instead of firing people from, I don't know, I don't know. Like the people who are not able to get like your stuff out, instead they decided to do this. Hey, let's fire people from the most successful part of our company. Why? Need I remind you of the Nintendo, it was CEO or game designer or whatever, who when his company was failing because of his actions, took out a loan and cut his fucking salary to keep his, maybe it wasn't cut salary, I think it was just a loan, to keep his employees employed. Because he cared more about them having a job than he cared about profit. And it made them work hard enough that he didn't ever have to do that again. Because they realized our jobs are secure, we're getting paid good, we're not going to get fired, and they're treating us like human beings. So let's work. And they did, and they got that company back up. Those workers did. So I have to ask you very quickly, why not take from history and do what he did? No, you could never take the hit yourselves. Of course you never could. God damn it. All card game companies are like this. Like, for example, a recent card game we got into, Soulforge Fusion. Cards are cool, they're great, but also people were turned off by it because the marketing, one, didn't exist, so the company just didn't have any faith in it, I guess. It's really damn expensive. Like buying it in a store is like $30 for the starter pack, whereas I could buy it on Amazon for 10. The fuck? But also like they proudly talk about how the cards are AI generated, which like it's a bit misleading. Like they screw themselves in the foot with that. The certain text on the card, like the effects are not AI generated as far as I know, but I think the art might be AI generated, and there's the flavor text is AI generated. But like besides that, nothing is AI generated on the card. Which like the fact that they're upfront about it makes it more moral in my opinion. It's still a little iffy, but like sure. So like they screw themselves in the foot twice with the marketing and with that. And it's all down to the company. The employees probably worked to make this card game good. Like the cards look great. Everything in the starter pack is great. I was going to make a review for it, but I decided not to because my face cam footage just didn't work. So I decided that was dumb. But also it's the fact that like the company screwed over the card game. They keep screwing over these card games, whether it is greed or negligence or whatever it is. I don't care what it is. It's the fact is they're screwing over the card games we love. And I find that the best, most sustainable card games are ones that aren't the most popular or the most funded or the most marketed. They're the ones that are made like a guy on his YouTube channel talking about like, like here's my card game evolvers, shameless plug, which yeah, they always do better than like ones run by companies. Like they're not more profitable, but they always keep a loyal player base and they're always like releasing fun enough cards. May I remind you that there what used to be like a physical card game based off of like what was it called? It wasn't Hearthstone. It was the same guy. It was Blizzard. It was based off of World of Warcraft, and it was like a thing, and then they just stopped making it because they handled it so poorly. Like, how is it that a whole ass company, you have all these thinking heads, all these fucking uh, parasites, I'm gonna call them, because that makes more sense, working, and yet they can't come up with something better than like people working in their basement. Like, come on, guys. That was my rant on card games. I still love them, to be clear. I do want to talk about how much I love card games, but it's very difficult. I already do that a lot. Like I love this, I love that, I love this commander, I love this Yu-Gi-Oh card, I love this archetype, I love this tribal deck. Like I talk about how much I love and love and love and love, and I feel like there needs to be a level to which I talk about like, yeah, no, I kind of like 50% don't like this. Well, it's not. It's like 30% I don't like this. I still love Magic, I still love Yu-Gi-Oh, I still love SoulForge Fusion. I still love everything I play. My headphones died in the middle of my speech. But it is really a bitch because I love the games, but they are being screwed over by the companies that make them, whether it be greed, negligence, or some other third option that I keep forgetting to mention. Stupidity. There it is. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. It really is. And I'm tired of that shit, right? I'm tired of it. I just want to enjoy. I want like what's it called? I don't know. I guess I just hate corporations. I feel like everyone does right now. I hate a lot of corporations, except for like Arizona Tea and like fucking what's it called? Costco. Not Costco. Not Costco. What's it called? Is it Costco? I think it's Costco. The place where they sell the hot dogs, and the CEO said, if you increase the price of the hot dogs, I'll fucking kill you. And I'm pretty sure he was absolutely serious, which like most based thing I've ever heard a CEO say. And the Arizona tea guy basically saying, hey, literally we will try everything in our power to keep this bitch below 99 cents. And like the highest I've seen them is like $1.05, which is insane for a drink, by the way. So, yippee! Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't watch my other rant videos. They are pretty hastily and lazily made, and I'm gonna try and make like actual good content for you to watch. Watch my other card game videos, except the deck list. Don't watch the deck text. Don't watch the deck text. Please, for the love of God, stay away from the deck text. Okay, bye.